Well, okay. This video I'm going to talk about is time travel possible or not. Before I do that, I must now hear a word from my sponsor here, Missing Series of Hamilton. If you have a food or meat donation, any type of donation out there, please make that donation, Missing Services. We're happy to have your food in the food bank, and we're grateful because it goes to help needy people. Now, to keep the services running at Missing Services like Willow Place, the two outbuilding Minnesmuts and Man's Residence, etc., that costs money. And no money, we can't keep those services running. So we can make a nice big cash donation to Missing Services. And if you're really wondering there about too, if you want to contact them, you can contact them at, I will give you the phone number, 905-528-5100. And ask upstairs to speak to some of the donation departments. And this is sort of a plug for that. I make a big donation. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, now on to this little documentary I come up with. Is time travel possible or not? Is time travel possible in today's means of science? Now, I've done a lot of research on time travel. I believe time is like a river, so we play our own part. What we do in that day, also what we do. What I would do today would also be what would affect the future. So, if let's suppose I went out and I changed the way the Earth looked at something, and they looked at it a little differently. Therefore, I just changed the timeline of future. So the timeline is what you make it today. Good example. If you look at Star Trek, called Our Past Is Yesterday episode, where the Enterprise and Saturn went backwards in time to the year 1968, without the tractor being crushed in F-18. Now, believe it or not, big fighter. Now, after that, they interfered with time. Now, because that had this slingshot effect around the sun, and all Hungarian TV land. But is it viable to do such a thing like that today, just to take advantage of the past to make a better future? No. It's not an advantage of that to do so, because I will let you know why it's not an advantage. So, number one, yeah, you could do it, but if you change the wrong events that happen place in time, well, you just change the history, you just change the future. See, if I went backwards in time, for example, and year was into 70s, or in the 80s, when I have an account Canada Trust, I went there and I withdrew all the money from that account, which I probably could. I did that with my ID and I walk in, I withdrew all money. I steal my own ATM card from them, withdrew all money in the account, and then drink back to the future and spent it. Now, there would have been what would happen, that would show up on camera, but also be a fraud, that committed a fraud. Now, let's suppose I went to a time I uttered fraud in Chicago, O'Hare Airport. Well, let's suppose I took a bank of problem. I made two can't resist at the same time there, so I write myself an existence in the space and time there. So that's very dangerous to do. Now, suppose I went backwards in time and there was this government check there for that Revenue Canada for $1 million check. And I said, I'm not going to spend it. So I put it in the mail and sent back, return to sender immediately. Upon doing so, my past me would never cast that check there, so uttering would not happen to me, get it? uttering a forged document would not happen. Therefore, I would probably may not might have transitioned, yes, a lot sooner, but it may not have, moved on to Hamilton, or maybe it did move on to Hamilton, but later, see? Oh, because I wouldn't have that too. But instead, with me, why, see? These were things that were happening, but may not end up going to Willow, but may not end up knowing these things known today, see? As a result, I learned from that experience. Now, simple. Now, I just changed the timeline for myself. Now, let's suppose I went further. Let's suppose I went and I prevented somebody from having intercourse to deliver somebody in the world. This is a person I know about. I can't mention names, but I'm thinking about who it is. Let's suppose I prevent Mrs. Ranka from being born into the world. Therefore, she won't be at Willow. Therefore, she won't be a problem. Simple. Now, if I did that, it would be like, anyways, it would not be right. I just changed the timeline. Everything had to be here for a reason. She's here for a reason. I'm here for a reason. You're all here in this time for one reason only. What we do is important. If we readily travel to the future, I'll feel totally out of place. But let's suppose I travel thousands of years into Earth's future, and I see things, and I see how replicators work. But you know what? And I take that technology, brought it back this time, and started using it. Therefore, I just changed the timeline because replicators haven't invented yet. Now, there you go. Change the timeline. Let's suppose I went backwards in time to the year 9 to time Alexander Graham Bell invented a phone. I went across who crossed a baker, gave him a loan. And I prevented him from giving that loan. Therefore, Alexander would not invent the telephone, would not have money to do so. As a result, what would happen there? Number one, he would have, the phone would not get off the ground. Number one, Alexander would not want to invent it, but he'd be in a poor house, never get patented. So, therefore, telephone today would not exist, and therefore, smartphone would not exist. See? And let's suppose went to 1920s, and I have this smartphone here from the 1920s. What would happen if people see it? People is eventually somebody who built vacuum tube will finally take it apart and figure out how it works and actually start building it. Now, therefore, if it worked, what happened next? There'd be a computer at this same timeline. The smartphone would be way ahead of technology today as a result. So no matter how you look at time, anything you do in the past will have a serious repercussion. Let's suppose I went to World War II and I managed to gun down Adolf Hitler in cold blood, and the war ended at his result. Well, yeah, but what had happened is, yes, the time thing, but number two, things would not come out today as we see today. The time would be a different time today because maybe, a lot of terrorist organizations were not formed or sub-formed but hadn't formed. Now, so now how you look at time and how you travel about it, and it's dangerous little things to deal with time. It's not something you want to do. It ain't something I want to think about because, and even God forbid, if I ever get caught in a paradox of time in the past, you know what? I will try not to do anything to change that. I will let that time paradox play way out. Even if I know what is going to happen, I will let it play out. Let's suppose it ended up in Queen Mary Scott time, so she can be executed. Well, I let her be executed because if I stopped her being executed, then I had changed the timeline big time, and I would be guilty because some things will not be here today because therefore I just changed the timeline. Well, who would be on the throne? What would Queen Elizabeth be? Another It will be the 5th edition of Queen Mary on that throne, basically. So, it was not that at all. So that really thinks about, when I got thinking about it, honestly, it's not really that true, but honestly, I would not. Time travel is dangerous, no matter how you look at it. Do something in the past, saying the past, you know what? You're saying the future. You just might have killed yourself in the future by doing something stupid in the past. These are things that are going to happen. That is why, scientists today would not even have looked at it. Maybe if they do attempt time travel, I don't think they were probably saying anything in the past. And even today, there's still a tariff on steel and aluminum that were lifted yesterday. Well, those were lifted, but what happened? These tariffs were lifted as a result. Things happen, but we won't see any of this until after this long holiday weekend. Now, I'm going to explain something to you again about this. Two is that when the tariffs are in effect, it hurts the economy. It hurts us because we can't, live up. But now with the tariff gone, and on other things as well, besides the steel and aluminum, now that opens the door for American products to come back into Canada like have in the past. And that's pretty great, and I'm happy to see that, because before we weren't seeing much American product. I didn't see much American product in Canada because of the tariff bit. Now tariff gone, more American product coming in. Well, that means more stuff be bought, and people will have more money in their pocket now over that because of this. Because of that. Before it made everything, tariff gone, made anything out of metal expensive. Even a new Keurig coffee machine, if there were tax galore on it. I mean, there was a port tax on it as well, matter of fact. Just on the metal coffee maker, they started a import tax. And that import tariff, called a tariff tax, on top of the GST nation. So it made it almost $150 more. You had to pay a little tariff tax on top of that. We were not in Keurig. So that makes it expensive indeed. I mean, very, very expensive, And isn't that dog wonderful, Bark out there? Anyway, see the dog that barks and barks and barks. Anyway, doesn't bother me, but still, time travel is very, very dangerous. That's how I look at it. One, would I time travel? No. Number two, would time travel be possible? No. Yes, it would be possible in the future, yes, but I don't think it should be used for political gain, any kind of useful science. Could be used to observe a time or something and to clarify record of future, but not to interfere with the events that supposed to happen at that time. The very little, even 1968 Woodstock, the very little, some of the records are very unsketchy about Woodstock, whether according to records, that 2 people died and there was 4 newborns came in. But, well, that's pretty sketchy. Did make me wonder something as to more than that happened. Just only 2 were reported. See? I want more people died, just only 2 were reported. Now, good question. The only way to find that out is going backwards in time to Woodstock, year 1969, find out, then of what detail, get the file, look at detailed record, and to play what historic part Woodstock play, and were that recorded actual fact of 2 deaths and 2 born, or were there more babies born than that weren't reported, see? By doing that, by more babies born, then, from there, what will happen then? Well, number 1, Woodstock would become a festival, but will become a place where people want to go, more interested to think about, but I wouldn't say anything we're looking at. Of course, I would make sure we posted Well, yeah, in that timeline, as a hippie in that time, only then. But then I will go back to the present and sort of hand out report and present and update records of that of the day from that time frame. Anyway, that where time travel used for practical purposes only, and not be used for profit or propaganda, or used to end wars over it had happened. See, used to stop World War II before it happened. Stuff like that. That is not time travel. That is inappropriate use. Very dangerous. I believe if you do that, it's not you hurt yourself in future big time. Matter of fact, you could actually prevent yourself being born, so therefore you cease to exist in the future. Anyway, so the time travel practical for gain profit and gain by big company? No, it's not. B, the time travel proper scientific gain and knowledge. That's a big if, or yes, iffy, yes, very iffy, but could be used. Time of historical research, yes, it could be, to find out why records were not clear from a certain event in the past at Woodstock. So, would it be practical for scientific research purposes? Yeah, one way yes, and one way no. Because scientists tend to look at something and may take modern day creation into the past and use that in the past. But unfortunately, I would not, think that would be a practical. One way yes, practical, one way no, not practical. Number two, average individual time traveling are not familiar with doing so into the past, could change the world and could change its own future, preventing itself being born. There's an individual ceases to exist. There's so, and that can happen too. So, time travel is not practical. It's a dangerous thing to do. It's, you don't know what you're doing. You shouldn't time travel into the past. There are professional time travel in the universe that do it all the time, and they know how to do it. People on Earth, you shouldn't do it. I'm not a professional time travel either. I mean, much as I would dream about it, much as I will do science fiction about, or do a practicality study on it, yes, every so often we will treat time slips. Time slips in the past are one thing. It happened because of a time mix-up within the universe and time. And time is a river, and a river you do river, it flows like water down a river. As the water flows down, it creates a current. And in that current, the river can also go this way, flowing along like this, or the river can fork off like this. It can fork off and go that way, get it? One or the other. And what happens is, when a terrorist, came off for Lumen, the time corrected itself there, because if those terrorists remained, it would eventually would cause wars and more wars. It would cause hatred among countries. It would cause hatred among governments. So the terrorists not brought a new peace among government, like a bit of more global peace among government. Now, doing so, it also might end the Chinese-Canada relationship scandal well. But let me see if that supposed to happen. If that happened for other things will happen overseas. Other countries, like Mexico and Central America, will happen. So, but before that can happen, the terror going to, which is the correct. I mean, I knew that was coming because I knew it coming. I knew it probably come sooner or later, because there's no way to continue this, because it's cost the economy built up. Now, example, now that happening, prices may come down, but our dollar is going to go up. I see it coming. I predict with tears off the room, our dollar go up because that means steel workers here in Hamilton would be coming back to work again, to work in the Fasco, working in Stelco. When they laid off Stelco, be called back to work because they already, I heard right now down in Hamilton, they swamped with 22 million orders from all over the United States and southern Mexico. Big orders. Matter of fact, so much so that they had to maybe call back all their workers that laid off and call back just to get these orders underway and processed. I only emptied 2 of the yards of stock steel I already had in stock. Anyway, now, if you think about it, time travel is not a practical in any way, shape, or form. An accidental time travel, if you act under accident, which could happen in our future sometime, I really warn you, don't do something in that time to change the future, because if you do, you could not exist. You may damage something that could cause us our destruction here. So don't ever do it. If you did. Number 2, don't tell anybody that you are from this time. Try to blend into the time in 1920s. You blend in 1920. You try to dress like them, you act like them, you live and work and everything else, and try to figure out how to get back and not tell anybody. Hide anything away you got, like a laptop, a smartphone, anything. You technology, just blend in that time. And then when you do figure, eventually time will correct itself. When the universe sees, hey, the universe says, hey, there's an imbalance in time here. There's somebody should not be here in this time. In 1912, supposed to be in 2012. Well, that time will correct itself. Time will snap that person out of 1920, and that time will grab that person, will come to poke that person and say, look, you got to come back to us, but person grab the laptop, blah, 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 travel back into the future, back to the present where he's supposed to be, and guess what? Nothing happened because he didn't change anything. He just blended into the time. It happened to me. God knows if it's ever happened to me. I ended up in that time. I would blend in that period. I would just blend into that year and try to live my life out much can until the universe realized there's a mistake and that had to be brought back to here. Once it happens, boom. Number 2 is I probably won't use it. I might the camera phone, I might get some pictures, information, gather information with it, or store the information until it got back to into the present. Then it maybe download into the present. Basically, so that'd be something I would probably do, but I would not tell anybody about it. Because if I told them about it in that time, I change history. They're so, trying to keep a low key, blend in, take a job somewhere, okay? Learn how to drive a Ford, learn how to drive a car, and then take a job. If I live this long enough, I'll be in here anyways, eventually, right? Younger than that. But the problem is I don't get back this time. Eventually, year 1960 will come, and boom, I'll come into the earth from Bracebridge, and there'll be somebody here from 1920s here too. Now, they duplicate me from 1920s. 2 can't be in the same time, so the theoretically time will cancel everyone out. So that the only way, but I don't feel that even happens. Well, what happens? Well, number 1, time will correct itself, season bound, and bring me back to present time, baby. So I can't really go on in detail, but yes, if it happens, try to blend in a time. It happened to me, and I went back to time Queen Mary of Scots, or Queen of England, for example. What would I do? I'll be very loyal to her. I'll be more loyal to her than anybody, but be a clever, loyal person. Be clever about it. Scientific wise, be clever, because we'll have this technology today what I could use. Never tell her she can be headed by Victoria, because if that, you don't get headed, then I think the time, would that be right? We do be irresponsible, because at this same time. Therefore, by doing that, I had this prevented, A, so I haven't. Number 2 would be the warlord night to her and blah, blah, blah. Fine, I will probably live until I and die of old age in that time before long, I said. And or maybe step 2, I might get close to her that could take up a step forward into being a queen, of taking her throne, coming in and picking up her throne and becoming queen in that time. If I did that, and I lived long enough, there'd be, who will be on the throne? It'd be Queen Sarah Jackson be on a freaking throne, you know. I'd be on the throne in England and over there, so I just made it a wonderful life myself. But I wouldn't do that. I'll be loyal to her tonight. That's the only thing I do. I wouldn't freaking do that at all, because number 1, I'm not meant to be on a throne. See what I talk about? Number 2, not a good idea. Anyways, can't go on about that. But I'll try to blend in that time best I could. If it ain't medieval time, blend in the best I can. Yeah. If it was a time when in the future, like 100, of being trapped 1,000 years in the future, then I'm gonna blend in that time probably the best I can and try to get used to modern day technology then, and see if I can't get back. If I can't, I have to be stuck there. I have to make the best of worst situation at that point. Therefore, but not interfere with what's gonna happen then. Because I'm gonna say blog over. Thank you for listening. And now a closing mark from our sponsor, my sponsor here. For great music and great listening, go to cfu.ca on the website, where you would hear The Peacemaker's Journey, a journey through Aboriginal music and culture by me. Thank you for listening. And also listen to Keiko out of the basement, and there's many wonderful other shows on here. Science Sucks and many shows. So go to cfu.ca and you can listen and enjoy radio with a smile and somebody like you. I love it. So please go there, enjoy cfu.ca. Rock over.